Lian kept shouting Zhou Wu's name in a coma. Jiao Du awakened Lian. Lian opened her eyes and asked Zhou Wu. Jiao Du frankly told Lian that he had buried Zhou Wu Haosheng. Lian couldn't cry when she thought of Zhou Wu. She took Zhou Wu's death on her own body and asked Jiao Du to accompany her to see Zhou Wu. Jiao Du looked at Lian, who had no fear of herself in front of him, and couldn't help but be surprised that Lian was not afraid of him. Lian had gone through twists and turns along the way. Now she is not even afraid of death, so how could she be afraid of Jiao Du? Looking at Lian, who had grown up through hardships in front of him, Jiao Du felt distressed. He took out the pink talisman he had picked up at the time and wanted to make Lian a safe life. Lian only hopes that the people in the world can live in peace. As for the safety talisman, she still leaves it to Jiao Du, hoping that the safety talisman can play its last role and protect Jiao Du. Lian and Jiao Du came to see Zhou Wu together. The two filled Zhou Wu's grave with white rice. Lian tearfully ate a bowl of white rice for Zhou Wu, hoping that the world would flourish and there would be no more refugees. After this, Lian has grown a lot. She no longer stretches her hand out of clothes and opens her mouth when she eats. The maid wants to serve Lian in the bath, but Lian refuses and only does it herself. After Lian finished bathing, Jiao Du also received the letter from the sage. He hurriedly sent the letter to Lian, and accidentally ran into the appearance of Lian who had just bathed. Jiao Du was shocked. Lian accepted the letter. She knew that the prince was coming to Luoyang and decided to stay in Luoyang for a few days. Jiao Du mentioned the changes in Lian. Lian was no longer the innocent princess back then. Knowing the suffering of the people's livelihood, but also knowing Jiao Du's cold face and kindness. Long Song followed Sichu and Sun Zhenren to Liaoyan Temple, which took in many refugees. Long Song led a tour of Liaoyan Temple with a woman named Abby and chose a quiet room as his place of residence. Chang Ji has been practicing Sichu's swordsmanship, but she hasn't been able to understand the way. The 18th brought a Sheila Falcon to see Old Kin and Zhu Feng. When Zhu Feng saw a Sheila Falcon, it was like seeing an enemy. A Sheila Falcon only called him friends with Chang Ji. He entered the Tang dynasty only for this time. Looking for a Long Song. Old Ken has always had a vision. He knew that Ashley Falcon posted a notice of Li Cheng's death to protect Long Song, so he decided to believe Ashley Falcon and entered the city with Ashley Falcon to find Long Song. When the prince arrived in Luoyang, he wanted to reveal his identity as soon as he arrived in Luoyang. Shua could not persuade him, so he had to go to the palace with the prince. The prince thought that his identity could make all the refugees grateful, but the refugees only wanted food. They rushed to the prince madly, and Shua had to protect the prince tightly. Lian lives in the government office. She knows the movement outside, and she does not hesitate to stand up as Princess Xiong'an to appease the refugees and soothe people's hearts. Shua was very happy to see Lian. He quickly pulled Lian, and assured Lian that she would never let Lian suffer anymore in the future. At this moment, the prince's maid came to report that the prince's fever was not retiring and could not treat the refugees. Lian knew that the prince was pretending to be sick. She came to comfort the prince and hoped that the prince could grow up as soon as possible. Under the truth, sleep in Lian's arms. Cheng has always stayed in the quiet room without eating or drinking. The master came to see Cheng. She enlightened Cheng and hoped that Cheng could go out of the past and help Liaoyan watch the world and save people. Chang Ji was finally willing to face the reality under the point of Guanzhou. She named herself Ali and decided to stay in Liaoyan Guan.